I want to go instead to what's going on in the NFC East because it is the funniest shit. And it's funny insofar as it's all stuff that we talked about on this show potentially being in play, right? This is exactly what I warned like 2 months ago, right? When it came to Terry McLaurin. Like, the one thing the Commanders could not do, right, was allow for Terry McLaurin to become unhappy. The worst thing they could do for Jaden Daniels is make sure that his number one weapon wasn't under contract. It was simple. If you're the Commanders, sign Terry McLaurin. Give the man what he wants. It is a non-guaranteed contract league in the NFL. Yeah, you might have to pay some money up front. And while people question, openly whether or not Josh Harris is a good owner or whether or not he should own teams in different markets, Josh Harris spends. All right. He doesn't always spend well. He doesn't always spend intelligently. See the Sixers, but the man spends. So it strikes me as odd that Terry McLaurin isn't signed. And what you ultimately see is that McLaurin wants out. Like, it's finally reached the point where Terry McLaurin, needs to leave Washington. And I just don't know what the Commanders do. Because if you're not going to give the guy the contract he wants, are you going to cut him? It seems unlikely. Are you going to trade him? Like, what's that going to look like? To me, McLaurin's a guy who, like, by this point, should say it's put up or shut up time. Now, Jaden Daniels went on CBS today. And I'm actually going to play a clip here for a second of Jaden Daniels talking about his number one wideout, his number one weapon. No offense to Deebo Samuel, who looks a bit bloated these days. But let's go out to Jaden Daniels, who, again, remember, was number 5 on that ESPN quarterback rankings. Let's hear what he has to say about his wideout not being signed, his number one guy.
I know this team and this organization is asking a lot of you. They are not going to ask you how to sign or get Terry McLaurin into camp and figure that all out. But how do you handle a situation where there's uncertainty surrounding a player who I know means so much to you?
It's actually a good question, good framing of the question. All right, let's go. Let's see how the sophomore quarterback does in responding.
Yeah, control what I can control.
Good answer.
I know one day 17 will be running out here, and hopefully soon, but I can't control what he has going on with his business or, the front office, stuff like that. I got to go out there. And
that's all fair. Control what you can control. He's putting on a little bit of pressure here, but he's not saying, like, get my guy in camp. Okay.
Try to be the best version of myself each and every day. And just hope one day it all gets resolved. And 17's back out here catching passes.
It's a good answer. Good answer by a young player. There's a reason to like Jaden Daniels a lot. There are actually a lot of reasons to like Jaden Daniels a lot. That was a very good answer from a young QB. There's a reason, again, that they feel as confident about him as they do. Now, Dan Orlovsky went off today on ESPN, went off on the Commanders, went off on them screwing this up, not having McLaurin in camp, not having him under contract. I want to throw out to that, and then we're going to get to the other NFC East dumpster fire, which obviously keeps all of us warm. It warms the cockles of our hearts as Philadelphia Eagles fans. But I do want to go out to Dan Orlovsky because he lost his shit on ESPN today talking about McLaurin and what the commies are doing.
And this is one of the dumbest things that has been a part of the NFL this offseason. It's one of the most maddening situations that I have been watching this NFL offseason. It ain't that hard. And I've had people disagree with me on that. And it's not that hard.
What's not that hard, Dan?
Respectfully, Washington, you were a dumpster fire for years. You were a laughingstock. The only thing good about your organization was that young man. Every year he did it, year after year after year, for like 5 or 6 years with disaster all around you. You were the only reason why anyone spoke somewhat positively about your organization.
That's high praise for McLaurin. Also fair. Totally fair.
If you don't have him, you erase everything that you did last year. Everything that you did. And I'm being respectful to Dan Quinn and Adam Peters and what they did last year.
I like the prefacing of all of this with respect. It's not quite like the Stephen A. Smith talking about Lamar Odom. Well, he was on crack. I mean, no disrespect. It's not quite that far. Okay.
You need him. Give me receivers that impact winning. impact winning as much or if not more than Terry McLaurin. I'll give you like Jamar. I'll give you like Justin. Amon-Ra St. Brown. This guy.
No AJ Brown. Where's AJ Brown at? How does AJ Brown not come to your mind? I get if you don't like put Devontae Smith. How's AJ Brown not like one of the first names off the tip of your tongue? Okay.
He impacts winning. This is a team that had 6 fourth-quarter comebacks, was ridiculous on fourth down. What are we doing in Washington?
That's a good question.
You finally have some good. And you finally have hope for the future. And you're trying to take away the one thing in your organization that before Jaden and this group got there was good. It makes no sense.
The thing that's interesting about it too, and he kind of touched on it there, is that the Commanders had so few things going positively for them before Jaden Daniels. And McLaurin is one of them, and he's one of the holdovers from that bad time who did play really well and was a bright spot on the team. And now the even bigger issue is you have the second-year quarterback who's trying to take that next step and not have a sophomore slump, and his number one weapon's not in camp. That's a problem, right? That's a legitimate issue. Now, while Washington is going through that, Dallas is an even weirder spot, right? Because if you remember, and I'm sure you do, we talked about this on the show, I think before it even like full on ballooned into a horrible place. We showed that clip on this show of Jerry Jones effectively calling out Micah Parsons and to some extent in a drive-by calling out Dak Prescott for getting hurt. Like, yeah, you know, just because we sign these guys, just because they're under contract doesn't mean they're going to be available, and kind of taking shots, right, at both Micah Parsons and at Dak Prescott. Well, Micah Parsons is fired back because there was that other scrum that we showed, I think, a couple days later, where Parsons was talking to the media, kind of addressed like what Jerry Jones had to say a little bit, you know, kind of noting some stuff that's very interesting. Now, we do have to get to a thing that is very important. And the thing that is very important is that Micah Parsons has demanded a trade. Not only did he demand a trade, he did it in one of the most diabolical ways I have ever seen a player request a trade. This was one of those, like, with respect. Here's the Micah Parsons tweet. Yeah, he does like a 3 screenshot thing where there's like overlapping text and everything. He does a 3 screenshot drop on X. But the most notable thing is right here. Thank you, Dallas, with some emojis and exclamation points. So he goes, thank you, Dallas. 3 screenshots. Like, we got to read this, right? There's that old meme of like, I'm not going to read all that. Sorry that happened. Or happy for you. That was this. So he puts out a thing where he kind of fires back at Jerry Jones at the way that Jones was trying to negotiate without his agent being present, kind of calling out the entire front office, although Jerry Jones does lead that, saying that he handed in his official trade request to Stephen Jones. And it's led to a very weird dynamic at Cowboys camp.